the last real man and wish him congratulations. And that is Silas Young. Silas, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. How about you guys?
You know, fighting a cold. Fighting a cold, Silas.
Fighting a cold. Well, you know what the cure for that is, don't you?
What's that?
A couple shots of whiskey will get you nice and warm and feeling better.
What do you think, Bully? That's kind of like what you said at the beginning of the show.
Great heel minds, great scumbag minds like me and Silas Young think alike. We both told you to drink whiskey.
Absolutely. There's a reason that
wait.
last forever.
Silas, you smoking a cigarette?
I am smoking a cigarette.
Love it.
How is it? You're out there in Wisconsin, right? It's cold as balls out there.
Oh man, it's awful. It's awful.
What's the temperature out there?
I think it's about maybe like 25 today. So I mean, it's not too bad, I guess, in comparison, but it is below freezing, so it's still terrible.
Oh man. So first off, congratulations, re-signing to Ring of Honor. Let me ask you this: can you take us through the process of your re-signing? What made you resign? How did your negotiations go? Kind of walk us through the whole process.
Yeah, so a few months back, I have a few friends that work with WWE, and I had a friend who works there asked if I'd be interested when my contract is up, coming working there. And I think wrestling business is one of those businesses where you absolutely have to have an open mind, and you have to always consider all the options. So at the time I was definitely considered the option. And then as time went by, we're getting a little bit closer here till the end of the year. All these rumors and things started popping up on the internet, about me signing with WWE, like it was a done deal already. And, honestly, at that point, all I had done is have a couple phone conversations and exchanged a few texts, so at that point it was just really a little bit of talk going on, and then just a few weeks back, I had heard from, the guy that takes care of the contracts with Ring of Honor. And the funny thing is he was under the assumption that I had already signed with WWE. The internet and the wrestling fans can really take a little bit of information and really run wild with it. But what it really came down to is, I wanted to stay with Ring of Honor because I feel like what we're doing there is this really great thing, the freedom we're given to be ourselves, to take chances is huge. We're all performers, we're all artists, we're all wrestlers. We all have that drive and determination to be world champion. If you don't want to be a world champion, you probably shouldn't be a wrestler, in my opinion. So there was a lot of things that came into thinking about what I was going to do. I have a family, I own a home, I have a couple little small businesses here in Milwaukee. There's a lot of things that went into it, but I think a big piece of it is believing in a company that believed in me. For the last 5 years, I've been with Ring of Honor, and I've been given opportunity after opportunity, and every opportunity I've been given, I've taken and I've succeeded with. So I thought, considering all the things I have going in my life, considering, the fact that, WWE, they're, arguably the top of the game. They're where everybody wants to be, but there's only so many spots there, and they have so many guys under contract. And then you think about the fact that, Ring of Honor has believed in you for so long. I decided to go with what I like to kind of consider the sure bet, the team that's backed me forever, and I wanted to continue backing them.
Wow, what an amazing answer, Bully, by Silas.
It sounds like the word loyalty is written all over that answer, yep. Silas. Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Loyalty is huge to me.
Do you believe that the WWE approached you because they were genuinely interested in you, or because they wanted to try to screw with Ring of Honor because of the Garden situation?
I think it's because of the Garden situation. It's just funny that after that announcement was made, the drive to try and sign more guys really seemed to pick up. I know that they have, a lot of things that they want to do and a lot of new areas they want to try exploring. But, I wanted, if I were ever to go somewhere else, I'd want to go because I feel like I'm really wanted, like, hey, we have this idea for you. But I didn't feel like that was the case. You know, I wanted to stay at a place that says, yeah, we want you. We have ideas for you. We want to do this with you, opposed to just, hey, we think you're good at what you do and we'd like to give you an opportunity. You know, it just seemed like it wasn't the right time or the right place.
Silas, do you feel like a lot of wrestlers kind of get blinded by that WWE spotlight? Because like you said, there's only so many places on the card. Do you feel like a lot of wrestlers just hear the WWE call and they answer it without even thinking what the future is going to be like?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's a huge thing. I think for a lot of people, once you get to the WWE, people think that they've made it, so to speak. And, you know, once you make it anywhere, that's just the beginning. That's when the real work starts. But, you know, it is that thing. It's like WWE has this, I don't know, this thing behind it, this connotation that once you get there, you've made it to the top. And I don't believe that's how wrestling is anymore. I believe that there's a lot of places that you go. You can make a name, you can make a living, you can make a life for yourself. So, you know, at one time, yeah, WWE was the top of the game, but I don't necessarily think that's the case anymore.
Silas, knowing your ring style and your psychology, I think you're a huge asset to Ring of Honor, and I'm not saying that to blow smoke up your ass. I genuinely believe that, and speaking in the business sense. I think a guy or a character like yourself could have been successful and would have been successful in NXT, but I don't think you would have been successful on the main roster. Do you agree, disagree? What's your take on it?
You know, I think that's a tomato type of thing. You know, I think NXT is definitely something that's more driven towards like your indie hardcore type wrestling fans. And I think you're right. They would appreciate that. And I think even just the whole coming from Ring of Honor going to NXT thing, I think that does huge things for guys. You know, and as far as the main roster goes, I mean, you know, you've been there before. It's all a matter of who likes you, who doesn't like you, and whether you know, Vince McMahon believes in you and believes in your character. And that's really just a big crapshoot, to be quite honest with you.
Plus, I'm sure if you did make the choice to go, you know, with another company outside of Ring of Honor, when April rolls around and there's a sellout at Madison Square Garden and Ring of Honor is a big part of it, that would have been very, very hard for you not to be a part of. Yeah,
man, absolutely. The MSG thing was, you know, I wouldn't say it was a huge deciding factor, but it was definitely something that, you know, I considered. It's huge. It's history making. You know, no other wrestling promotion has ran in MSG since like the 60s or 70s. That's amazing. And then just to not even be running it, but to sell out in something like 20 minutes. That's amazing. That's definitely something I want to be a part of.
Silas, one of the things that we were talking about earlier on the show is that obviously there are some people leaving Ring of Honor. What is your opinion on certain talents leaving, and how do you feel? Do you feel that presents opportunities for you and the rest of the locker room?
Yeah, you know what? I think it not only presents opportunities for myself and the rest of the locker room, but I think it's going to be awesome for the fan standpoint. You know, there's going to be, you know, when guys leave, that means that other guys are going to step up and other guys are going to be given opportunities, and that, you know, other guys might come in from other places. So, you know, I think from a wrestling fan's perspective, I think 2019, especially the beginning of the year and going through all the way MSG and all the way to the rest of the year, it's going to be awesome. There's going to be huge changes that happen. And as a wrestling fan, I mean, I would think that would be an awesome thing to get to see.
As a performer in Ring of Honor, did you ever feel like the rest of the locker room and the rest of the talent maybe took a back seat to guys like Cody and the Bucks?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there was a point, especially in this last year, where it felt like, you know, a lot of the shows, or, you know, just the company in general, was revolved around, you know, those group of guys. You know, I think, you know, some guys were, you know, not as happy about it as others. So I think, you know, coming this next year, it's kind of time for guys to, you know, put up or shut up. Now you got the opportunity, so it's time to rise to it.
Do you also think that 2019 could be your time? 2018 was a very, very good year for Silas Young. But do you think in 2019 we could be talking about you being a world champion for Ring of Honor?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think 2019 and moving forward, things are only going to get better. Like I said, I've been with the company for 5 years, and every year I've been given more and more opportunities. And every time I've been given an opportunity, I've took it and I've succeeded with it. So, I don't see why more opportunities won't come. And like I said, when I get opportunities, I capitalize on them.
Which opportunity would you like to see come your way? Would you rather see yourself in a world heavyweight championship series of matches, or would you like to see yourself embroiled in a strong storyline?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'd like to say both, to be honest with you. I'd like to have a great storyline that involves the world title. Like I said earlier, if you don't want to be world champion, you shouldn't be doing this. But it's the stories and the drama. To me, that's what pro wrestling is all about. There's so many guys that are athletically gifted nowadays that they're being athletically gifted is kind of a dime a dozen nowadays. So you have to be able to tell a story and create drama, and to me that's the best part of pro wrestling.
Knowing the babyface that Jay Lethal is, and knowing the heel that you can be, knowing the chemistry that you and Jay Lethal have had in the past, I think that would be the best marriage of strong storyline and strong matches. Is that something that you could see yourself in and succeeding in?
Yeah, absolutely. Myself and Jay have been in the ring a handful of times, and every time the matches just keep getting better and better. I don't see why anything would be any different. Jay is, I think me and you have talked about this before. Jay is the perfect example of a guy taking, old school storytelling with the new kind of Ring of Honor style of wrestling and melding them together, into what we have as a product. And, I think with a guy like him and myself, we could really produce some great stories.
When we look at Ring of Honor, and there's always been change with Ring of Honor over the last, 10 years. I mean, my God, the roster definitely, moves and changes a lot. But over the last couple of years, it's pretty much been the same. So is there a fear within the company about change with the roster? Or is this something that, as a member of this roster, you've dealt with before, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a success?
Yeah, I think some guys may fear it, but I think for the most part, I think guys are excited. They're excited for change. They're excited to get new opportunities. Like I said, you said it, the roster has changed, over the last 10 years so much. And when guys left, there was fans, and there was, some of the boys talking about, what are we going to do? Who's going to step up? But what happens? Someone always steps up, always, is given opportunities and succeeds with them. I think, like I said, it's nothing but beneficial for the fans to see what Ring of Honor does next. And I think it's going to be just like it's always been. It's going to be great.
Are you happy or content with your new deal? Is it exactly what you wanted?
Well, I don't know if I would say it's exactly what I wanted. I think we would always want to make, as much money as possible, but the negotiation went really well. I feel like I'm definitely better off in a financial stance, and I'm also in a position where Ring of Honor we travel, but we also have a lot of time at home. So for me, it's the perfect situation. I get to spend some time at home with my family. I get to be out on the road traveling. I get to work with some of the best athletes, the best wrestlers there are in the world. So for me, it's really the perfect situation.
In the WWE, the word push does not exist. The word opportunity does. Do you believe with your new deal in Ring of Honor that they are going to present you with more opportunities to succeed?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously money's a huge thing for any of us that are doing this. It's our livelihoods. So, like part of the negotiations was, I said that, I want you guys to invest in me, because if you invest in me financially, you're going to have to invest in me then storyline wise. And I think having that talk and those explanations, I think that, that it kind of, I shouldn't say forces, because that sounds like it's a bad thing, but, it puts them in a position where they would want to utilize me, in a more high level role type of thing.
I mean, you still have a lot of career left, Silas. I mean, in wrestling terms, you're still a very young man. At the end of the day, if your career was to end with Ring of Honor, would you be content and happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, it's a lot of us feel like, making it to WWE is the top of the game. But for myself, I just wanted to be able to make a living and support my family and, live a comfortable life. And, Ring of Honor's allowed that. Like I said, I get a lot of time at home with my family. Right now I'm at home with my wife. I'm watching her wash the dishes. It's a good day. We're going to get to spend a few days together here this week. It's an awesome situation. Guys that work for WWE, they're traveling 250, 300 days a year. They're paying for their own hotels, their own rental cars. They're paying for everything. Ring of Honor, they take care of us pretty well with taking care of our flights and hotels and cars and stuff like that. That may not seem like a lot to fans, but when you're a guy who's traveling the road 200 days a year, those expenses add up. So it's definitely a great situation.
Silas, what's the honey-do list like when you get home from being on the road?
Just like basic stuff like, maybe clean up the yard. Now this time of year, shoveling. I get yelled at a lot to mow the lawn when it's lawn mowing season. But, that's about it. Just your basic guy work.
How did you feel about McCarthy getting fired yesterday?
You know what, man? Like, I've seen a lot of Packer fans are the worst, to be honest with you. It's real easy to be a fan of a team when they're winning. But, it's Packer. Like I said, Packer fans are the worst. As soon as our team loses or a guy, drops a pass, everybody wants to fire him. I honestly was quite surprised. I mean, the guy's been the head coach for 13 years. And I mean, besides this season, last season, every other year they went to the playoffs. And, I mean, you look at other coaches in the league who've had jobs at places and aren't succeeding. I guess, yeah, it kind of surprised me.
I mean, I'm wondering what like a Sammy Callahan is thinking as a Bengals fan when Marvin Lewis is still your head coach after 15 years when McCarthy gets fired.
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Sammy Callahan or Marvin Lewis?
No, Marvin Lewis. We were talking about the coaches.
Yeah, I know.
There's these coaches in the league, and they just, it very much surprised me. But I think fans of other teams might be excited that maybe Mike McCarthy might be coming on their coaching staff for their team.
Well, Silas, man, it was great having you on. Congratulations once again, knowing that you're going to be with Ring of Honor for the next few years and expecting big things in 2019. We really appreciate the time this morning.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.